and welcome to ISTV English News. I'm Dhanya. Let's take a look at the top stories first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives, takes part in the concluding function of Sangai Festival. And Congress Party prepared to have women's seats reserved in election. If BJP is willing, women's reservation can be successful, says National General Secretary of Congress, Jarjum Ite. The news in detail. Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, has arrived in Imphal. He was given a warm welcome at the Imphal airport by the Governor of Manipur, K.K. Paul, Chief Minister O. Ibobi, Health and Family Welfare Minister Phungzathang Tonsing, Commerce and Industries Minister Govindas Konthaujam, Chief Secretary, DGP, etc. Soon after he landed at the airport, the Prime Minister's cavalcade headed for Hapta Kangjebung. As this news is being telecast, the Prime Minister is reported to be attending the concluding function of the Sangai Festival at Boat. For empowerment of the women of India, the Congress Party always remains prepared to have women's seats reserved in the election. If the BJP, which is in power at the centre, supports the issue, the women's reservation policy will surely be successful. This was stated by the National General Secretary, Northeast in charge, All India Mahila Congress Committee, Jarjum Ite. Our sub-editor Narobam Phillips and video journalist N. Ranjan report that the Mahila Congress leader made the statement while talking with a few media persons at Congress Bhavan this morning. President of Manipur Pradesh Mahila Congress, R.K. Rani Sana, and other functionaries were present. Jarjum Ite further said that it is necessary to have the position of the women improved in getting India developed. Congress Party has always been trying to empower the women of India. Mahila Congress is the backbone of the Indian National Congress. The Women's Reservation Bill had been passed in the Rajya Sabha after it was moved by Congress. To make it pass in the Lok Sabha, it is necessary for the NDA government led by BJP to support the bill. If Congress and BJP unitedly support the bill, it will be an easy issue. BJP had given assurance to support the bill during the regime of UPA 2. On the other hand, the courage of Manipuri women who stood up against the mighty British, of which episode is still known as the Nupi Lan, is highly commendable. The Mahila Congress must not only be the members of the party, but also must take part in the welfare activities of the people. Talking about the crimes against the women and children, she said, it should not be left only to a section, but all should join hands to try to eradicate all problems connected with the crimes. We should try to find out why the crimes are happening, she said.
So it's not just the Congress Party or the BJP or, maybe the religious leaders. It has to be a collective responsibility of every concerned, citizen and individual in the society at large to contain these kind of crimes. And it's not impossible, but it will also be very important to take into consideration the mental health status of young people. We need lots of counseling, approaches in schools and colleges, and in perhaps within our residential communities also.
Public curfew called by the united body of 7 insurgent groups of Manipur in protest against the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the state capital to attend the concluding ceremony of the Sangai Festival has completely affected normal life in Imphal and several other districts of Manipur. All the roads in the valley districts wore a deserted look. Except for the vehicles belonging to the security personnel, very few civil vehicles were seen plying. All interstate and inter-district passenger service vehicles preferred to stay off the roads while people stayed indoors. All shops and business establishments in most parts of the state remained shut. The fact that the day was Sunday helped the public curfew become successful. Unprecedented security measures were taken up by the state police, IRB, paramilitary forces, etc. The roads, which have already been fenced and are expected to be travelled by the Prime Minister, were lined up by the security personnel on both sides. There is no report of any unwanted incidents so far. However, the low-floor buses are plying specially for carrying people who want to visit the venue of Sangai Festival. It may be recalled that every time a VVIP from the centre pays a visit to the state, the Korkom or any other insurgent outfit calls general strike in the state to boycott the visit. Thus, the number of people who take part in the program in which the VVIP graces is always very less than the usual size. In order to ensure the safety of the Prime Minister, a large team of Special Protection Guard (SPG) had arrived here some days ago and has been overseeing the security measures being taken by the state police. Meanwhile, the security arrangements for the visit of the Prime Minister have been taken up in an unprecedented manner at the Imphal airport, on the roads from the airport to Hapta Kangjebung and the boat where the Prime Minister will address the gathering. The roads from the airport to Hapta Kangjebung have been fenced on both sides. Policemen were seen standing in a line on both sides of the roads as a security measure for the Prime Minister. After participating in the concluding function of the Sangai festival at Boat, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will come to the office of the BJP state unit at Keshampad and meet the party leaders and workers there. The Prime Minister will also address a press conference there. Security has been tightened up at the BJP office as well. A felicitation program for Manipuris living in Myanmar who have come to Imphal to witness the Sangai festival was held at UNACO, Kongman last night. Managing Director of UNACO, N. Irabanta, Sundar Gopal and many other Manipuris living in Myanmar took part in the felicitation program. Addressing the gathering, Sundar Gopal expressed desire for uplifting various sectors in which Myanmar is lagging behind, including healthcare. Existence of the rare species Sangai, found only in Manipur, makes a Manipuri living in Myanmar feel proud. MD of UNACO, N. Irabanta said, "We need to make a concerted effort to meet the hardships in electricity and health sector."
The problems in the Myanmar, and particularly Mandalay, is the temperature is very hot. The problem is electricity. Electricity is very scarce, and the people are suffering lots.
Condemning the suspicious death of Toijam Manihar, 59, of Thambalkong Sabal Lekai, who was undergoing treatment at Raj Medicity North AOC on November 20, local residents held a protest demonstration at Thambalkong Sabal Lekai today. At the protest organized by JAC formed against the murder of T. Manihar at Raj Medicity, the protesters raised various slogans like "Punish the accused doctors," "Close down irresponsible hospital," etc. Talking to the ISTV News, wife of the deceased, Taruni Bala, pleaded with the authority concerned to deliver the most stringent punishment to the accused doctors. She also appealed to the people to extend help in finding out the truth. On the other hand, a woman protester also appealed for finding out the truth. Moving on to some national and international news. At a conference attended by the country's top corps in Guwahati today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid out a plan for smart policing. By smart policing, I mean S for strict but sensitive, M for modern and mobile, A for alert and accountable, R for reliable and responsive, and T for techno-savvy and trained, PM Modi said while addressing the Conference of Directors General of Police in Guwahati. The key conference was also attended by senior-most officials of India's intelligence and security agencies. The Prime Minister also extolled the role played by India's policemen, saying, "Since independence, 33,000 policemen have died in the line of duty. Police welfare is another issue which needs to be given importance," he said. The Prime Minister said a task force of senior police officials should be set up to work out a protocol and incorporate certain measures to ensure that the legacy of the sacrifice of martyrs are honored and respect for them is established in society. It is up to us. We cannot let their sacrifices go in vain. For us, their sacrifice cannot die, said PM Modi. He also claimed that the media keeps projecting only negative picture of the police, who do a lot of good work which is often not highlighted. It was imperative to change the perception about policemen in the country, said PM Modi, and expressed his gratitude to all those police officers who are serving the nation. He also stressed on the importance of good intelligence, claiming it held the key to national security. Explaining why the key conference was shifted out of Delhi this year, the PM said, a tradition going on all these years was broken and this meeting was held here in Guwahati. Security meeting being held in Guwahati is a morale booster for the Northeast. Addressing the conference, Director of Intelligence Bureau Asif Ibrahim described ISIS and Al-Qaeda as serious security challenges for India if they were not dealt with on priority. He said the Indian diaspora has become increasingly vulnerable to elements having allegiance to terror groups. The IB director said vulnerable groups and fringe elements from over 80 countries have gone to Iraq-Syria region to participate in the conflict. 23-year-old Arib Majid, who returned to India after fighting for terror outfit Islamic State, was today interrogated by the National Investigation Agency (NIA), Intelligence Bureau (IB), Research and Analysis Wing (RAW), and Maharashtra Anti-Terrorism Squad (ATS). During the interrogation, Majid revealed that there are around 13 other youngsters from India who are fighting for IS in Syria, said sources. Majid, who is in NIA custody till December 8, is also likely to undergo narco analysis and lie detection test. A second-year college student in Hyderabad has died after allegedly being beaten by a senior inside his classroom. The victim, Harshavardhan Rao, had reportedly objected to his senior allegedly teasing a girl in his class. According to eyewitnesses, the senior student came to Harshavardhan's classroom and hit him on the face and stamped him on his chest as well. Students say the management did not respond even after Harshavardhan was beaten up. They themselves took an unconscious Harshavardhan to Aditya Hospital and then shifted him to Care Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries. Police have booked a case of murder under Section 302 of the Indian Penal Code. A Press Council of India (PCI) appointed panel looking into the journalist assault issue outside self-styled godman Rampal's ashram has observed that Haryana police employed unconstitutional tactics to prevent media from doing its duty. It recommended investigation by administrative officers into the episode. In its report submitted to PCI, the 4-member committee is learned to have said that police and local administration failed to rise to the situation and resorted to what it called brute force against media persons doing their duty. Several media personnel were among those injured on November 18 as clashes erupted at Rampal's ashram in Barwala in Hisar district, with police lobbing tear gas shells and using batons to disperse his supporters. In its recommendations, the committee has sought compensation for injured media persons as well as for those whose equipment was damaged during the incident. It also sought identification and suspension of the policemen responsible for the attack on media persons and fast-tracking their cases. Work has moved into top gear for finalizing the name and structure for the new institution that will replace the 64-year-old Planning Commission, and the same may be unveiled this December. The Prime Minister has convened a meeting of the Chief Ministers on December 7 to seek their viewpoints on the structure of the institution, which would ultimately replace the Planning Commission, an official source said. The Commission has received many suggestions regarding the name and role of the new body. Some of the suggested names are Sustainable Development Commission, National Development Agency, Social Economic Development Commission, or Bharat Pragati Lakshya. Besides, there have been reports about the new body being named as Niti Aayog or Policy Commission. The new institution, which is likely to be headed by the Prime Minister, as was the case in Planning Commission, may have 4 divisions: Interstate Council, Plan Evaluation Office, UIDAI and DBT. All the divisions would have experts from the centre and state governments as also experts from the industry. The Prime Minister of Taiwan, Jiang Yihua, has resigned after his ruling pro-China party suffered heavy defeats in local elections. The Kuomintang party, KMT, appears to have lost control of districts across the country, including the mayor's office in the capital, Taipei. Saturday's polls were widely seen as a referendum on relations with China. KMT supporters had argued for good relations with China, which views Taiwan as a renegade province. China and Taiwan, a close US ally, have been ruled separately since the end of a civil war in 1949. And now let's take a look at the top stories once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives, takes part in the concluding function of Sangai Festival. And Congress party prepared to have women's seats reserved in election. If BJP is willing, women's reservation can be successful, says National General Secretary of Congress, Jarjum Ite. Thanks for joining us, and for more news updates, please keep watching.